Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages, Boom Broadcasting presents Three from Deep. I'm your host, Jason Colenso. Welcome to the show. Happy Monday, guys. Coming straight out the weekend. Here we are, March 3rd. I appreciate y'all being here with me. Got a pretty decent show today. I'm very excited about it. I want to do a lot of recaps because we had a pretty interesting weekend coming out of the NBA, and there's some games and some situations I want to touch base on here with today's show. But first of all, guys, if you haven't joined Boom Broadcasting Network on the YouTube channel, you have to get on board, like and subscribe. We're on that strive for 5. We're trying to get to that 500 subscribers and beyond, and we can't do it without your help. I appreciate the love and support I'm getting for this show. We have a lot of other great shows just coming out of the weekend. We had that WWE Elimination Chamber big extravaganza where you got to join the nightcap with Mouthing Off with Mike. He reviews a lot of that. I'm not a huge wrestling guy, but he is, along with our Boom Broadcasting president, Mr. Michael Davis, huge wrestling fan. So, guys, if you have any kind of wrestling, you need some knowledge, you need to be know what's going on here, join the nightcap with Mouthing Off with Mike. Check us out on Boom Broadcasting. You also had the NFL Combine this weekend. I got my Combine Under Armour hoodie on because, of course, the NFL is going to start heating up here pretty soon with the draft. I also am on a show with my boy Wayne, Sideline Savants. So if you guys do any kind of fantasy football, that will be turned on here in the next few months. You got to check us out when we come back and start talking about fantasy football. So Boom Broadcasting, we got a little bit of everything for you. Check out the Gridiron Address with Aaron. He just had a great show on Sunday talking about the AFC free agency. So, guys, we got a lot of great content here at Boom Broadcasting. So, like and subscribe. Jump on here. There's something for everybody. I guarantee it. You will not be disappointed. And it's free. Not much left in the world that's free. So, all right. Jumping in today, what do we got on tap? So, we're going to do some game recaps. I'm going to jump back here, and we're going to go back into time a little bit here and go back to Friday night because I want to kind of talk about some of the games I didn't get to discuss on Saturday's show. We'll do a little recap for that. And LeBron, Mr. 50K, I'm going to talk about that here today. And then we're going to do the layup line at the end of the show. I kind of like to do my little quick hit stories with my little layup line here. So we'll get into that also. So, guys, sit back, relax. You got me for about 30 or so minutes. I appreciate you joining here. Don't be afraid to hit me up with a comment. If you guys want for me to answer a question for you, if you have some comments on the show, tell me what you're thinking. You ain't gonna hurt my feelings. Let me know. Positive, negative, I'll take it all, man. That just means you're watching. So right there, that's a win. So Friday night, let's jump right into this. The Pistons' 8-game winning streak ends. They did lose to Joker and the Denver Nuggets, 134-119. Joker, again, having his triple-double extravaganza season, 23, 17 rebounds, and 15 assists. He's up there for MVP stature again. It is hard to say anything negative about the dad bod god. He comes every day. You're guaranteed a double-double, triple-double. It is amazing what he's doing. And for that Nuggets team, he's got them poised to make another playoff run. But that streak ends at 8. It was a heck of a streak for the Detroit Pistons. I am enjoying seeing Detroit back into relevance again. The last 3-4 years, they have been the dead last worst team in the NBA. So for them to do what they're doing, amazing. So, but they did bounce back and did win their next game here. So, but Cade Cunningham, and that game Friday night had a little rough game. You know, only 11 points, 3 for 12 shooting. 3 rebounds, 5 assists. So that team definitely goes to the beat of Cade Cunningham's drum. When he's on, that team is on. So was a little rough loss, but to bounce back and win was good for them on Saturday. So they'll take that. They beat the Nets on Saturday. So good win there for them to bounce back after a loss. But heck of a job, Detroit. Thank you very much for being relevant again. Although, as a Knicks fan, I really don't want to see you guys in the playoffs. I really, really don't. So let's also jump Friday night. We had a heck of a game between the Boston Celtics and the Cleveland Cavaliers. Number 1 versus number 2. Cleveland Cavaliers come back from 22 down to end up beating the Celtics 123-116. Now, the Celtics, to their, I want to say credit, but they did not have Drew Holiday, nor did they have the unicorn, Kristaps Porzingis. He was out too for an illness. So they didn't have 2 of their top guys. But, man, Donovan Mitchell dropped 41, 12 in the fourth. Garland added 20 points and 7 assists. Evan Mobley, 17 points, 12 rebounds. That was a heck of a win for Cleveland to come back after being down 22 points. They split the season series. That's the last time they were going to meet until maybe they meet again in the playoffs. So both 2-2. So these guys, I think, are destined to kind of meet at some point in time to play for the NBA championship. Again, as a Knicks fan, hope not. I hope the Knicks can push through and get over the hump. But the Knicks haven't been able to beat either one of those teams this year. Detroit Pistons have. Some other teams have. The New York Knicks haven't. But Cleveland Cavaliers up by 7 games over the Celtics. It looks like, barring some catastrophic losing streak, it looks like they're going to finish number 1 in the East with probably the best record, or probably close to the best record, with Oklahoma City. Man, Cleveland, the land, doing some big things there. That team is operating on all cylinders from top to bottom. They are a complete team. So, and that was a heck of a win against the Celtics. Jayson Tatum had himself a game. 46 points, 16 rebounds, 9 assists. 1 assist away from a 46-point triple-double. The biggest question I have with either one of these teams, but specifically the Celtics, the biggest question I have is, why does Jayson Tatum not get any love? He should be up there. Let me get my image here for my MVP watch, my crack production staff. Why does Jayson Tatum not get the love, the flowers that everybody else, all the other superstars in the NBA get? You get Giannis, Joker, SGA, LeBron, Luka. Jayson Tatum, not mentioned anywhere in there. He's an NBA champion. He is a stud top. I'd say I'd have to put him probably in the top 10 of current basketball players. He's definitely in the my top 10 of current basketball players playing the game right now. But you don't ever hear anybody talking about him. You don't hear anybody really showering him with praise. It's really weird. I know Brown is on that team, who I think is probably one of the most important pieces of that team, Jaylen Brown. But Jayson Tatum is the MVP of that squad. But he does not get any love. Drop me an answer, guys. What do you think? I don't know if it's just because he's not boisterous, not flashy enough. I don't know what he's missing. The guy does everything you're supposed to do. He doesn't do anything off court. He's amazing on the court. He has the Celtics constantly in playoff contention every year that he's been there. He's already got a ring. What else does he need to do? What else does Jayson Tatum need to do to be considered amongst the greats of the game being played today? I don't know. I wish I knew. I can't put my finger on it on what he's missing. He does a lot of things right. He just does not get um, any consideration. He's not talked about in the MVP rankings like some of those other guys. It's weird. I don't know. I can't put my finger on it. Is there just kind of that hate for the Celtics? Excuse me. Let me try a salute Monday coffee. I know sometimes we all need it. I don't know if it's the hate for the Celtics. And that, that kind of has something to do with it. That Celtics aura, the Boston aura. I don't know. It's pretty crazy. But Tatum having a great season. But once again, them Cleveland Cavaliers, man, on fire. And then let's talk about my New York Knicks, who I'm hoping can get into the playoffs and beat. Both of those teams are one of those teams that we haven't been able to do it all stinking year, and it's driving me nuts because we have some great victories. We beat the Grizz 114-113 on Friday night. OG Anunoby hit a three with 5.3 seconds to go to sink the Grizz. Brunson, 23.6 assists. McBride, 17 points. Bridges, 15 points. John Morant had 25 and 7. Not bad. Not bad at all. But, man, what does what do we have to do, Knicks? What do we have to do to beat the Celtics or the Cavs? We got a little bit of help back, getting our center back. But, man, we could beat some good teams out there. We got to be able to compete with the Celtics and the Cavs. I love that we're sitting in third. But there's some other teams that scare me. The Bucks, the Pistons. I don't want to be a one and done in the playoffs. I'd hate to be a Knicks fan, have this good of a year. Jalen Brunson gets my MVP vote. Karl-Anthony Towns, one of the best trades the New York Knicks have ever made, besides Carmelo Anthony. That was one of our biggest ones, is one of my favorites. But Carmelo Anthony. Karl-Anthony Towns is kind of that kind of trade, that kind of impact he has made. I know he's even up there for MVP consideration. So, great win for the Knicks on Friday night. I'll take a victory anytime, especially against a really, really good Grizzlies team. And then, of course, we cannot do a show without talking about Luka Laker. Friday night, the Lakers beat the Clips 106-102. Fifth straight win for the Lakers. Luka on his 26th birthday, so no longer 25. 26th birthday, drops 31 points and 5 assists. I think he's got his legs right now, guys. I think he's Dallas right now is just not in a happy place because I think they were hoping that he would fall flat. Excuse me. That some of the things that they were saying about him, that his work ethic and he's fat Luka and just not committed. I think they were hoping that would come through, but it does not look like that. LeBron James, 28 points, 13 rebounds, the ageless wonder. It is amazing what he can do at 40. And the Lakers were shorthanded. No Hachimura. Reeves left in the first quarter with some calf soreness. So a depleted Lakers team coming back and beating the Clippers for that fifth straight win is a good victory. And Luka Laker, I tell you what, he has energized that team. He has energized that city. You would think that the Lakers would have been energized anyways, having LeBron James on your squad. But this trade, it's still echoing weeks later. It's amazing. And then let's jump into Saturday, some of Saturday's games. I want to touch base on real quick here. Again, the Pistons did bounce back versus the Nets, 115-94. Cade, a little bit better game, 15 points. Harris, Beasley, and Duran, 18 points apiece. The Pistons team, man. These are the kind of wins that are great. Go on a nice little winning streak. You lose a game. You have a rough one against the Nuggets, but then you bounce back and win. That's what good teams are supposed to do. That's what impresses me with this Pistons team, to be able to bounce back from a kind of a bad shooting game or a bad loss. Excuse me. It was windy here this weekend. So, my voice, I'm losing my voice again. We've got this up and down weather here in northern VA. Happy spring, y'all. But Pistons, good bounce back win. And then De'Aaron Fox and the Wemby-less Spurs beat the Grizz on a last-second shot, 130-128. Poor Grizzlies. That's back-to-back losses in the final seconds of a game. That's got to hurt. Fox dropped 20 points, 2.6 seconds left. Hit the game winner. But the biggest thing coming out of that, which for me is something that's amazing, is Jackson Jr. for Memphis. 42 points. Averaging 23, 5.9 rebounds, 2.2 assists. Now that Wemby has exited the season, he did not hit the mark for 65 games it is to become Defensive Player of the Year, because Wemby would have had Defensive Player of the Year running away. He had more blocks than I think 99.9% of the teams in the NBA. Victor Wembanyama would have won Defensive Player of the Year. But without Wembanyama, Jackson from Memphis now has a chance to be named Defensive Player of the Year. He's that first guy. Evan Mobley is right there. He has a shot at it too. But if Jackson Jr. gets Defensive Player of the Year, he is then eligible for a 5-year, $345 million Supermax contract. Wow. 5 years, 345. That's insane money. And he's a great player. Don't get me wrong. Dropped 42. He is a consistent double-double machine. He's great on defense. But, man, you talk about some of the other great players in this league. Is he worth $345 million? That's insane. And those numbers are only going to go up. Some of these Supermax deals are going to be ridiculous. And a lot of these other sports, NFL, MLB, they start seeing some of those contracts that these NBA players make, man. There's definitely a lot of jealousy there. Which is absolutely insane. But yeah, Jackson poised to become one of the highest paid players in NBA history. Wow. All right. Saturday, the 76ers, who I still leave for dead, but they had a really good game. Quentin Grimes, out of nowhere, dropping 44, snapping that 9-game losing streak for the pitiful 76ers against the Golden State Warriors. Curry had 29, 13 assists. No Jimmy Butler. Jimmy Butler having back spasms. Maybe one of the reasons why you don't have Jimmy Butler in there. That's a big hit to that Golden State team. Warriors did win 5 in a row, but hit that 76ers team. Look, these guys are NBA professionals. They want to go out and play. They're playing for contracts. They're playing for pride. I'm at least impressed that the 76ers do show up. There's a few teams out there that don't even try to show up. So it's nice that they did. So, sorry, guys, real quick. Take another sip. Salute. And again, I appreciate you being here. But here we go. Just when you think LeBron James couldn't add any other awards and milestones or anything else to his already insane career, LeBron James is poised to be Mr. 50K. Now, again, I record this show on Sunday evenings for Monday, the Monday drop. LeBron James only needs 18 points to become the first player in NBA history with playoffs and regular season to hit the 50,000 point mark. And I'm sure he's going to get it. I have no doubts that he's going to get it tonight, coming into Monday. Already adding to his scoring records. He broke Kareem Abdul-Jabbar's all-time record February 7th, 2023, which stood for 39 years. So he broke that record. In the playoffs, he broke MJ's record on May 25th, 2017. So now, combine those two, 18 points, to be the first player ever with 50,000 points. Wow. He is also one of the only players in NBA history over the age of 40 with multiple 40-point games. Is this LeBron James' best season of his career? For example, 2008-2009 MVP season for LeBron James. He was averaging 28.4, 7.6 rebounds, and 7.2 assists. MVP season. 2008-2009. I'm not that quick at math, but that was a long time ago. Right now, LeBron James this year is averaging 24.9 points, 8.1 rebounds, and 8.8 assists a game at 40 years old. Another tick on that 24.9. If he averages 25, he'll be one of the only players in NBA history to consistently average over 25 points. He is making it very, very difficult for me to not move him into GOAT conversation. I hate doing it, and I've talked about this before. I still say Michael Jordan is the greatest basketball player of all time, but I think right now a close second is going to be LeBron James. Just because of what he has done on the court already in his career and what he consistently continues to do. He's not fading away. He's not broken. Like you watch a lot of other NBA players as their careers kind of tailed off, like a Karl Malone or a Gary Payton. Some of the other greats you kind of watched where their career just, where they were injuries or they just kind of started fading away into oblivion. LeBron James is not doing anything like that. I got to get me a hyperbaric chamber, man, because that must be the secret or something. I don't know. I mean, I know he spends a lot of money on recovery and a lot of money on his body and making sure he is in peak physical condition. But what he's doing at the age of 40 and re-energized playing next to Luka Doncic, those Lakers are going to be a tough out in the West. But congratulations, LeBron James, 50,000 points for your NBA career. I don't know what else he can do. He can win another chip. He wins another chip. Yes, he's at the table. He's sitting there with the Mount Rushmore of the NBA. When you talk about Jordan, you talk about Russell, Jabbar, he's there. He's at the table. He's having his bust carved as we speak. It is absolutely amazing. So great job to LeBron James. Congratulations, Mr. 50K. Take a quick time out here, guys. Sorry, my voice just doesn't want to come back to me today. I don't know. And this is up and down season. We got things starting to bloom over here too. So pretty soon, hopefully it's not too bad where I may be over here blowing my damn nose. Excuse my language. Because the springtime and you get pollen and all other stuff. especially here where I live. But we deal and we move on. So, guys, my time out. Of course, I like to do my top fives. So, um, went out this weekend and kind of was just driving around. And I'm a huge hip hop fan, but every once in a while, I like to throw a little rock and roll um, on the radio. And there are some great rock and roll bands out there. So it got me thinking, what are my top five greatest rock and roll bands of all time? So started thinking about that. For me, number five, this band does not get enough love for being considered one of the greatest and for changing the game. You want to talk about a band that took marketing and advertising and selling themselves to a whole nother level, and that is Kiss. Rock and roll bands were just rock bands, flying in airplanes. There wasn't a lot of merchandising and other things to go along with it. But Kiss, they had, of course, the makeup and the personas on stage. But man, they sold everything from lunch boxes to you can go buy a Kiss casket and get buried. They got the Kiss Army, so some of the most loyal fan base of any rock and roll band out there do not get enough love for being one of the greatest bands of all time. Change the game, change the marketing game, change the advertising game, change the revenue stream on how you can. I think they were on Scooby Doo. I mean, they were everywhere. Kiss was everywhere. Don't get enough love. Let's go Kiss. That's my number five. Number four, AC/DC. I mean, everybody just that sound. They've got the songs. They are probably one of the most exciting bands to watch. I've seen some concerts. I've never seen their concert live, but I've watched some of their concerts on tape and on TV. And man, they rock out. Doesn't matter age, how long. AC/DC, their sound. My voice hurts just thinking how he can gravel and hit some of those notes. So that's my number four is AC/DC. Number three, Led Zeppelin. That's just one of the greatest bands of all time. You can still hear their influence in just about every rock and roll band since them. That's my number three. Number two, The Who. Same thing. That genre, that era of music, The Who created an aura around them to be a rock and roll band. They acted like it. They carried themselves like that. But the influence they had across the board, whether it's grunge music, whether it's heavy metal or death metal or whatever you want to call it, The Who had a huge influence in that. And my number one, which you cannot take away from them, is the Beatles. Everybody owes everything to the Beatles right now. They're one of those bands that they went from being essentially in sync. Back in the day, they were, the Screaming Girls when they were on Ed Sullivan and showed up in America on the airplane. And there was the British invasion, and all of a sudden these guys came out, these little kids with the funky hairdos, and they just morphed into the greatest rock band of all time. Just the way their music evolved and became something I don't even know if you can explain it. They went from a pop band in sync to the Beatles. And one of the only few music groups, the Beatles and Michael Jackson, to sell over 1 billion plus records. That is insane. 1 billion records. So that's my number one is the Beatles. It's hard to beat that. They are the originators. They opened the door for just about everybody out there. So Beatles number one, The Who number two, Led Zeppelin number three, AC/DC number four, and Kiss number five. Those are my top five rock and roll bands of all time, guys. Drop me your comments. What do you think? Who do you have up there? I'm sure I'm missing a bunch. You know, you have the Stones and Pink Floyd and some of the other guys out there that I think I probably could have switched around in there. But let me know what you think. So, and then to end the show here, guys, real quick, we're going to do the little layup line here. Some short stories. Some short stories coming out of the weekend. We saw something we haven't seen in 6 years over the weekend. Steph Curry dunked the basketball. Crazy. In the fourth quarter, in the breakaway, in that loss against the 76ers, Steph Curry didn't do his little layup or didn't do any, he didn't stop and spot and take a three. Steph Curry dunked about. And it's insane that we're even talking about it, but it was made a big deal. I think it's hilarious. He came out and said that's the last one he's ever going to do. So at 36, going to go on 37. He's like, that's the last dunk he's ever going to do. His last dunk that he had was February 21st, 2019. So 6 years ago was the last time he dunked a basketball, which it's funny. I know Steph Curry doesn't do that. He's a shooter, but it was just funny. And if you saw the way he reacted, and if you saw the way his bench reacted when he dunked the ball, it was perfect and hilarious. So Steph Curry dunking the basketball, crazy. 2, let's go. Number 2, the Butler did it. Jimmy Buckets has some issues right now. He's being sued for failure to pay rent and damages in a house he was renting in Miami. He owes 2 months' rent at $260,000 and $127,000 in damages. Why did I bring this up at all? Because it doesn't really make any sense. It's a non-story. But guys, $130,000 a month rent. You hear stuff like that. There's people losing their jobs. The world is going bananas. Gas expensive. Eggs. You gotta have a Brinks truck and an armed security guard to drop the eggs off at the grocery store now. And there's guys out there paying $130,000 a month in rent. This is the disparity in America, and I hate bringing stuff like that up. It's kind of depressing, and I don't want to have a depressing show, but guys, I think that is absolutely insane. You have a short career in the NBA. You make it to 40, you did good. So after that, you got another 40 years. So you got to live off of everything you made there. And you need to tell me you can't find a better deal in Miami than $130,000 a month. Crazy. All right, I don't even know what to say about that. I saw that. It blows my mind. I guess when you're rich, that's what rich people do. So I'm not rich. I don't understand. Even if I got rich, I'm not spending $130,000 a month on rent. Sorry. I can find better things to do with that money. Craziness. And then number 3, Magic. Man, Magic can't get a break this year. Paulo went down. Wagner went down. Now Jalen Suggs. Jalen Suggs has to have knee surgery. His last appearance was January 25th, so they've been without him for a little while, but he's not coming back anytime soon. So I feel bad for the Orlando Magic. They were one of my sleeper teams this year in the East. I still think they have a chance of getting into the playoffs. I don't know how much noise they're going to make. They can't get over the injury hump. So I hope they get better. I like Orlando. I like Paulo Banchero. I like Franz Wagner. Suggs was a great basketball player, turning into a pretty good stud in the league, but just thinks that he has to have this surgery now. So unfortunate for the Orlando Magic. So guys, thank you so much for being here with me today on Monday. I appreciate you so much. Again, please jump on, like, subscribe, Get everybody on Boom Broadcasting. We have a lot of great content providers here, myself included. Jayson Colenso. This is 3 from Deep. And I will see you guys on Wednesday because it is 3 from Deep, 3 times a week. Get my shot in, guys. So thank you all very much. Have a great week. I will see you on Wednesday. Peace.